A great evening to all of you. I'm Shanique Miller. This is the Bahamas Tonight National Report. The headline stunned the nation. 3 murders in 30 minutes. But that was yesterday. Tonight, there's a major development in that spate of murders, big enough to send the murder count in the opposite direction. Tonight, we've got the exclusive interview with the head of the Central Detective Unit that you'll see only on the ZNS network. Clint Watson is live in studio with this interesting turn of events. Clint, good evening.
Good evening, Shanique. Could it be a major mistake, miracle, or just simply confusing circumstances? Police are now confirming that one of the men they reported was shot to death in yesterday's murder spree is indeed still alive. This morning, ZNS News spoke exclusively with the head of the Central Detective Unit, Superintendent Paul Roll. Now, we're going to tell you, before we go to that video, we're going to tell you that this interview was granted exclusively to ZNS News as we've been following this story all day and really been on police to try and get some answers as to what's been happening. We were really trying to get developments on whether or not they had suspects ready for this, whether they had suspects available for this. Now, I'm being told by our engineers that we are working and getting the story to you, but until we get that story to you, we do have some pictures we can release to you at this stage. Late this evening, police released the identity of the victim from Ridgeland Park. He's been identified as 32-year-old Clayton Damiel Smith. Now, that's the victim. Now, police have also released new photos of the men they want to question in connection with a number of crimes. The first one you see on your screen is 24-year-old Andre Wallace, alias Muggs. Now, he's wanted in connection with yesterday's murder on Crooked Island Street. His last known address is First Street. He is of dark complexion, medium build, and is about 5 feet 9 inches tall. Next is Monterey Thompson, aka Monty Thompson. He's wanted for attempted murder. You may remember also early yesterday morning we told you of a man who was shot in the face while in a bedroom. Well, he is listed in serious condition. Thompson is 36 years of age, dark brown, and about 5 feet 8 inches and medium build. Now, the third man wanted tonight is Van Wright Newton, aka VJ. He's only 21 years of age, from Miami Street, about dark brown, 5 feet 8 inches and medium build. Now, he's wanted for an attempted murder of a couple. They were shot last weekend. You remember we reported that to you, and they're now looking for this particular gentleman to question him in connection with this particular story. But of course, these pictures just coming into us late this evening from police. We're the first to release them to you as we got them in momentarily, moments ago, that is. And of course, we're working to get that story for you, Shanique, that exclusive story that explains what transpired. And as soon as we get that story prepared, we'll bring that back to you, Shanique.
You've been following the story the entire day, so definitely we're working to get that on for you so that our viewers can see the late-breaking developments there. But we reported yesterday that the murder count went up to a record 96. Of course, it's still a record at 95. But when it comes to this misreporting, was it the fault of the police or the hospital?
That's the question we put to them this morning. Who's to blame here? And I think I get the impression they don't want to put blame on either parties, because you can imagine when you're investigating 2 murders back to back. They were first at Ridgeland Park, and then they had to be called away after investigating Ridgeland Park to Crooked Island Street, where the other murder took place. And by the way, police confirming that the 2 are now related to each other. They're connected. And so you can imagine coming from one murder scene to the next, you're getting information quickly. It's important to remember that the driver of the car, remember there was a driver and a passenger, both shot in Ridgeland Park. The passenger died on the scene. However, the driver was taken to a hospital where they informed police later that he died in a hospital. And that would have been the initial reports coming into police from the hospital. However, we're told that he was resuscitated due to great medical work, and they were able to bring him back. And so, of course, that can happen. If you know anything about medicine, miracles do happen. And they were told initially that he had succumbed to those injuries, but later they were told, hold on, they're still working on him. They got a response, and they were able to change that report. Now, police were trying to verify it all day yesterday, and that's why they didn't come right back to clarify that they had changed what they had given to us. But however, police say they wanted to make exactly sure that he was okay, he was alive, and they were able to verify that and confirm that to us. Now, I'm being told we now do have this exclusive story that we want to share with you. You see only on ZNS, an interview explaining how it all played out and the latest developments.
Only one of the males in that vehicle in Ridgeland Park had succumbed to his injuries.
Head of CDU, Superintendent Paul Roll, says they reported what was confirmed to them initially, but circumstances soon changed, and all he can say is it's nothing short of a miracle.
One of them, he was in critical condition. Persons at the hospital were able to revive him and have him right now on the respirators, trying to help him.
Police now say both the Ridgeland Park and Palmetto Avenue slayings are related. They're anxious for this victim to recover, as he is expected to provide a critical link in these murders.
Yes, we believe that he will be able to provide us information as to what transacted. We've been saying from the outset that we believe a third person was in that vehicle. I'm able to confirm to you now, based on our investigations since we have last spoken to you, that we now have reason to believe that both of those crime scenes are related. The one in Ridgeland Park, we believe that that is related to the one in Crooked Island Street. And so we are looking at both of those in conjunction.
ZNS News, in its own investigation, has learned that the Palmetto Avenue victim was on bail for causing harm. Police strongly believe that this slaying is connected to his offense.
Based on the information which I have, I believe that we shall be able to release some information. You notice I'm assembling the top team here right now, and once we agree as to who we believe this person is, we will circulate that information to the media in due course later on this afternoon.
This is a suspect you're talking about?
Yes, sir. We have at least 2 suspects.
And as they promised, Shanique, we were able to get those pictures today. And of course, we expect to get more information from police over the course of the weekend as they continue to wrap up these investigations. Great work there by the police force. Back to you.
Clint, thank you so much. Now, yesterday, City Markets issued a release announcing the temporary closure of 2 stores here in New Providence, South Beach and Sea Grapes, and the permanent closure of its downtown store in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and the 8 Mile Rock store also in Grand Bahama. The closures took effect midnight Wednesday. Meantime, the staff complement at South Beach and Sea Grape stores have been redeployed to the Cable Beach and Harbor Bay stores to allow the company to address infrastructural issues. President of the Bahamas Commercial Stores, Supermarket and Warehouse Workers Union, Warfield Bain, is speaking out on the move.
First, they lost their pension. Then they started working without insurance. You know, so much matters. And then to come to this, the people moving now to work 3 days every two weeks. You know, it's so sad. You know, in this country today, that shouldn't be. The workers need to be taken care of.
Now, Bain claims he's reached out to City Market's management numerous times to schedule a meeting to address member concerns, but that hasn't happened as yet. Now he has his union fired up and has hired a lawyer to force a meeting with management.
When we took over the union, we've been trying to reach out to Mr. Phillison, but he gave us one response by email. That was this past Monday. You know, it wasn't in much detail. It ain't telling you much. All it's saying that they will inform us of any changes. You know, but even then they didn't follow that up because they went ahead and closed 2 of the stores, and we haven't received anything from them as it stands now.
Well, after just 2 short weeks, the 400 participants that were scheduled in New Providence for the government's Job Readiness and Training Program completed their training today. A special ceremony was held at the Sheraton Cable Beach Resort. Janaea Noel was there.
I want you to know that you are the envy of the nation.
With these words, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture Charles Maynard congratulated the 400-plus participants of the first phase of the government's Job Readiness Training Program, who completed 2 weeks of training and will now work in the private and public sector for the next 50 weeks.
If you go on a job site and you don't do what you're supposed to do, it's going to discourage other persons from signing on to this program. Could you imagine if I own a company and a friend of mine called me and said, boy, you know, I signed up for that thing, and the people, that government people send me, man, they lazy, they don't come to work looking right. You know, if they complain, what I can do? I can say, you know what, I ain't gonna sign up. I ain't gonna bother with that program. So it's up to you, the first fortunate few, to get out there and to impress them.
Participants Alexio Ballou and Ambrosine Duncombe shared why they're excited about this program that comes with a price tag of $25 million.
I'm definitely very happy for the opportunity. I think a lot of individuals would have loved to be in the place that I am in right now, to have the opportunity to gain a lot of the wisdom and the experience, as well as just the open doors and the opportunities to go into a number of business institutions just to get some work. So I'm definitely grateful for it. And one of the reasons that I applied for it was because, like a whole number of people right now, I had challenges finding a job.
I hope to gain a permanent job and to use the knowledge that I learned here on the workplace or in the workplace.
Participants like Zenobia Evans, D'Angelo Ferguson, and Shakita Evans say before this program came along, jobs were almost impossible to find. They say they will now be able to jumpstart their careers and, most importantly, provide for their families.
I'm an unemployed mother. I have kids, and jobs are very hard to find. And it's helped me to set my goals, career, know what I want, to how to manage money, manage time.
I came back here in the Bahamas and I applied to several jobs and none of them called me. So I saw on ZNS that the government was starting a program for the Bahamian people. So I applied for it to better myself.
Within the program, it gives me a boost. Why so? I feel as though I can experience a new ground well off from where I usually work and where I usually apply.
Janaea Noel, ZNS News.
A local funeral home director and a car salesman under the microscope. It's an investigation into a year-long car smuggling operation that could possibly involve suspects in the United States. Ianthea Smith has been following this story. Tonight, she has the latest in the ZNS News exclusive.
16 years in the funeral business, and Denali Penn says she didn't see this one coming. Managing director of the Evergreen Mortuary now finds herself at the center of a major car smuggling ring investigation with possible links to the U.S. And tonight, 2 of her funeral vehicles are impounded.
I have 3 funerals on tomorrow. I don't have the use of my hearse. All right, I don't have the use of my first car. I'm sorry, my limousine, and I don't know what to do. I don't know where to turn. I've been a victim of a terrible scam.
Ms. Penn says she now has to shell out more money to rent hearses and limousines for this weekend's funeral services. You see, the 2 Cadillac Escalades valued at some $90,000 that she'd been using for the past year are now in police custody. This after she says customs and police officers stormed her Mackey Street office on Thursday to seize the reportedly stolen cars.
Yesterday, there were 3 custom officers along with 2 police officers that came to my business place with 2 notes of seizure for both of my vehicles, claiming that they were registered as stolen in the United States and that there were no duty paid on those vehicles as well. I am left in shambles because I have an outstanding obligation to the bank for $90,000.
The funeral director says she doesn't see how this could have happened when she went through the proper channels and dealt with credible companies, a seemingly legitimate auto sales dealer, the bank, and a reputable insurance agency. But still, that important piece of information still slipped through the cracks.
I can see if those vehicles were purchased on the street. I went through the bank. You know, it puts a lot of things in question as it relates to a Carfax. Here you would see I have a cover note for the insurance. Comprehensive insurance I've had on both of those vehicles from the time that I've had them. How is it that no one could have, picked up that there was some type of scandal or scam going on with these vehicles?
Our news team spoke to Assistant Superintendent of Police Clayton Fernander, who's leading the investigations, but he says since it's only in the preliminary stages, there's not much he can tell us right now. However, he did confirm, quote, "We did impound the vehicles," end quote. In the meantime, Ms. Penn, who has sought legal counsel, says she has a responsibility to the Bahamian people that she will live up to by any means necessary. Ianthea Smith, ZNS News.